What's up, guys? Today we're coming at you with a True King Zing deck profile. I really have a lot of love for this deck, and this deck has been doing good for me. So let's jump to the deck profile and let's see what we're coming at you with. We're running 3 of the True King Agnew. I really like this guy. You end up having 2 fires or a fire and another attribute, blow them up, special summon him to the field. If you have 2 fires, you end up activating his effect to banish something. So that's a very good effect. I like that. And if he's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, he ends up allowing you to get some worm type of a different attribute back to his hand, back to your hand. So that's very, very good. I'm running 3 of the True King Barastos. I just like his effect. Just the fact that if you blow up 2 water monsters to be able to banish out 2 back rows, very, very good. On top of that, if he ends up getting destroyed, you can end up searching a different attribute to your special summon one from the deck to the field. So that helps out a lot with a lot of your plays that you might want to play into. We have 2 of the Draco Phoenix. She's just all around good, just to be able to make sure that you get your searches off. And if she's destroyed, she helps you get the searches. And if you destroy 2 wind monsters, the special summoner, she also banishes off the top 4 of your opponent's deck. So that can help out a lot. We end up running 3 of the Jatsu, the Darkness of the Zing. This guy, he helps just to be able to make so many crazy combos. You end up pinching 2 Zings from your hand to the graveyard, special summon 2 from the deck. And that helps out a lot to get to your synchro plays that you want to do, or just spamming the board with getting crazy plays going. So it helps out a lot. We're running 2 of the Light Zing Chaoan. This guy, he helps you just to peek. If you have your deck set up, he can help you go into your Chow Fang. That can help you end up going into your pretty much lockout, your just crazy plays that you want to go into. He helps you keep special summoning from the graveyard anytime a Zing gets destroyed, and that helps you go into other synchro plays as well. We're running 3 Swanee, the Fire Zing. This is our Goku for the deck. He ends up going Kaioken on everybody. You know, he's big beater for the deck. You want to use him to go into your True King Fire plays, and also too just to beat down your opponent when your opponent's got that free open advantage on you. We're running 2 Bien. Bien is our Vegeta for the deck, just to be able to, you know, make sure that your opponent just keeps beating him down. That's what you want to do. He ends up just going Super Saiyan on your opponent as much as possible. So you really like him a lot. We're running 2 Bixie. Bixie is our Turtle Hermit for the deck. The original Kamehameha expert. You know, he ends up going into defense mode. He ends up stalling out your opponent, making sure your opponent can't do nothing. And then when you get ready to, go off on him. We're running 2 Pulao. Pulao is our Krillin for the deck. Krillin, he's always there. He's always making sure that the support's there for you. He's always making in defense mode, and also too, he's making sure he's getting them, helping you get those attacks in on them too. We're also running a Pendulum variant to the deck. So we're running 2. There's a Froxy, the Secret. He helps you. He is the Denlong for the deck now. You want to be able to get your pen scale set up and special summon this guy. That way you can get to your spell and trap cards. You want to get to your 9 pillars. You want to get to your path, and this is how you want to do it. You want to make sure you got him out there. He helps you go into your level 8 synchro plays and other plays that you might want to go into. So he helps out the deck a lot. And lastly, for the monster run, runs the Froxy to Treasure. Treasure, he helps to set up your pen scale, and also with him, and that also helps to get a lot of plays going too. Also too, the effect where if he gets special summoned from the deck, you know, he can help you turn a monster into a tuner, and that can help you go into some other good plays too. So I like him a lot as well. And that is it for our monsters. For our spell cards, we're running 2 Terraforming. A lot of people would still run 3, but to me 2 is good enough. I'm not wanting to go over 40 cards, and the way I got the deck set up right now is working out pretty well for me. But 2 Terraform helps to get to our spell card, our field spell cards, and helps us to get to our generating our plays. I'm running one Oracle of the Zephyr, and the reason why I'm doing that is to make sure I can get to those pin scales as fast as possible. If I already have one in hand, I have a terraforming, I can go ahead and get my pin scale set up, go with some other, like the Jotsu play, go into that, help me get my other pin scale set up on the field, go into a synchro play. This is gonna go off, get another card set to the top of the deck, and then on top of that I can pin something out, get another search. So it helps me get a lot of plays set up. I'm also running 2 Draconic Diagram. Diagram helps the deck out a lot. The fact that it gives all the True Kings a boost and also helps to search out the True Kings. I like that a lot. Also too, to be able to protect the True Kings from being destroyed. That can help out a lot too. But the main reason why I'm running 2 instead of 3 can be a little cloggy, and I want to keep as much balance in the deck and it rolling as much as possible in ways that I need it to keep playing. That way I can keep my opponent thrown off. I'm also running 1 Disciple of the True Phoenix Draco. The reason why I'm doing that is because of the Draconic Diagram, and also too, I've been making a lot of plays where I'd end up using too many True Kings too fast, and I end up having all my True Kings in the graveyard and I had no more power plays. This allows me to be able to target those True Kings, spin them back into the deck, get a free draw, and also too, if they decide to destroy it, I get to pop a card on their field. So I like that a lot. So it helps me out a lot to be able to have this in the deck to regenerate a lot of plays. I'm also running 2 Yang Zing Path. I'm running 2 of these because you don't want to see 3 of these in hand. Yes, you're going to use up a lot of Yang Zings, but 2 seems to be good right now. Like I said, you end up having the Disciples, and this, it helps you spin a lot of cards back into the deck and help you generate more plays. And lastly, for the spells, I'm running 1 Soul Charge. Soul Charge, you know, plays don't go the way you want to sometimes. Sometimes you Soul Charge a whole bunch of cards back, end up getting those good walls set up. So that helps out a lot. And that is it for our spell cards. For our trap cards, running 1 Solemn Warning. Warning is warning. Put a stop to everything. Give your opponent a warning. Say, look, man, I'm warning you, don't go too far. If you're going too far, you need to slow down a little bit. We're also running 2 Solemn Strike. Solemn Strike, you want to strike your opponent down sometimes. Sometimes they get too many crazy effects popping off. You got to say, whoa, man, I told you, I gave you a warning. Now I got to punish you a little bit, so calm down. And lastly, for the traps, we're running 3 9 Pillars. 9 Pillars just helps to make sure you get so much advantage over your opponent. You know, they start activating spell and trap effects, monster effects. If you don't like what's going on, tribute off one of your Yang Zings, get that Yang Zing effect, and also too, 9 Pillars is going to stop their effect and spin it back into the deck. So that helps you out a lot with a lot of your plays, because you're going to spin your monster back into the opponent's deck. They're not getting the effect and you're still getting the monster on board, so it helps you out a lot. And that is it for our main deck. For our extra deck, we're running 1 Chow Fang. Chow Fang is just all around good. He helps the deck out with Yang Zings a lot. You know, he's a skill drain on legs. If you destroy a card in battle, you want a Yang Zing destroy a card in battle, you're going to end up getting, you know, one of your monsters back to hand. You're going to special summon monsters. He does so much for the deck. If you use him right and get, you know, all the attributes in with him, like if you use a light, wind, fire, earth, you know, any of those attributes you use to make him, that's going to end up cutting, you know, your opponent off. It's going to skill drain your opponent's monsters, and it makes it real hard for him to play around it. But depending on what your matchup is, you can go into whatever attributes you want, pretty much put a real hurting on your opponent. We're running 2 of the Brightness of the Yang Zing. Baxia just pretty much just spins everything back. Whatever attribute, whatever materials you use, if you use 3 materials to make him, he's spinning 3 back. If you use 2 to make him, he's spinning 2 back. So that helps out a lot for a lot of your plays. Also too, if you have another Yang Zing, pop it, special summon a level 4 or lower Yang Zing back to the field. On top of that, whatever Yang Zing you popped is going to get a search off of that out of the deck. So it helps you spam the field as well. So he's very good for the deck. We're running 1 Yahtzee, the Evil of the Yang Zing. This guy, I like him a lot too. You can make him end up being battle immune. And on top of that, he can end up getting all the attributes for whatever you make him as materials. That way, you know, all the Yang Zings make it so that they have something that pops off with them. Either to be trap immune, spell immune, battle immune, or 500 attack point increase, whatever you want to go into. That helps out a lot whenever you're making a lot of these synchro materials. We're running one Trishula because you can go into Trishula on your opponent's turn, and that can really punish your opponent a lot. We're running one Bills. Bills is Bills. The fact that you got Bills out there, you can't destroy him. You can't get over him. Then if you make it so he's immune by all these other effects, it makes your opponent really hard to get over this card. So Bills is really needed. We're running one Psyframe Lord Omega. Psyframe Lord Omega, you know, anytime you get your cards banished out of play, slide them back into the graveyard. Also, too, keep ripping those cards out of your opponent's hands. It helps out a lot. We're running one Black Rose Dragon just because if your opponent gets a little too set up, you got a level 7, you got tuners on the field, you got monsters on the field that equal up to 7. You can make this on your opponent's turn and just blow the whole board up and say, let's reset the game right from there. Also, too, if you have Yang Zings after you make this, you're still going to get your searches off. That Yang Zing gets destroyed, they'll special summon a monster to your side of the field, so you're still ready to battle. We're running one Black Rose Moonlight. Sometimes, like I said, their opponent starts going off, they make that crazy XYZ. Let's say they make Utopia the Lightning. If you got the right materials on board, as soon as they go into Lightning, go into Synchro, spin that right back into the extra deck. All the materials go to the graveyard, you still got a monster standing. I'm running one of the Metaphys Horse, and the reason why I started running this deck didn't have a Snatch Steal. And with this, the Yang Zings have so many different attributes and things that can go into it that it helps to make this card, and it helps it to, you know, stack effects. You know, one of the main effects is if it's an effect monster or pendulum monster, that can either cut off a card on your opponent's side of the field, its face up, and also too, your opponent, you get to Snatch Steal that doesn't target, which is very, very good. Your opponent chooses a card and they give it to you, and if they only have one monster over there and you end up Snatch Stealing, it can really put them in a bad situation. We're running one Armades just because Armades hates on anything in the battle phase. You know, it's a free, you know, almost 23, so it helps out a lot. We're running one Herald of Arclight just to be able to make sure you can almost turn the graveyard into a pretty much banish pile. So anything that goes to the graveyard, you need to just say banish, dude. Just banish it on out. Banish, banish, banish. And also too, you can make this guy so he's battle immune so that he can't be ran over. Also too, you get that free negate. We're running one Phantom Fortress. This guy, I like him a lot because all of his effects end up banishing him from somewhere. The main thing I like about him is if after you Trished your opponent, you get 3 cards out. If you end up getting another True King out there with the Trishula, you can go into this, banish 1 more card out. So that's little plays like that. I like that a lot, just to punish the opponent. And lastly, I run 2 of the True King Calamities. Calamities is just all around good to be able to make sure that your opponent cannot go into their battle phase. Make sure that everything on the field turns into 1 attribute, and those attributes can't be activated during that turn. Makes a big difference in the plays. And also too, if your opponent, while he's on the field, all your opponent's monsters become a certain attribute, whatever you call. So if you call fire, you got one of your True Kings on the field, you can use your opponent, blow up your 2 opponent's monsters, then banish a card out with one of the True Kings by using their effects because everything was fire. But that's it for the deck profile, guys. Let us know what you think. We're out.